Hello, I'm Valentin Mandaci, the architectural historian, and I would like to speak about the importance of studying old maps, ancient maps, and the architectural history. You notice that my approach in architectural history method and methodology is a holistic one. I don't speak only about the architects and their creations, but I look at architecture from a multiple point of view. For example, a house or a building goes into being because of a certain cultural conditions. This one is also very much linked by economics of that time, not speaking about artistic trends, politics, geopolitics, even geology. For example, the construction materials used there, and multiple other influences from different fields. In my opinion, the old maps, the antique maps, are essential in understanding the architectural history phenomenon of an area. As you know, I'm specialized on Southeast Europe with a focus on the northern Balkans, especially Romania and the Black Sea, where I'm based. And throughout the years, I got to know, to study maps, antique maps in libraries, private collections, public collections, and even collect some of them. Collecting maps such as you see this bunch over here, is part of my collection, from different sources like London map dealers, where I used to be a member of the International Maps Collector Society, for example, and a very nice organization based in London, participated in their congresses, and also they had map fairs, also going throughout Europe and buying maps, or eBay, internet sources, for example. This Southeast Europe is an area of different influences. It's an area of convergence of geopolitical influences, and those are very much seen in the cartographic evolution of the area. We don't have much accurate maps for the epochs of centuries before. The accuracy lacks very much here because the Black Sea area or the Balkans were more or less at the periphery of the map-making world in a way, which was usually based in the West, places like the Netherlands or Spain or Italy, for example. They had much less interest over here than what was happening in the Mediterranean, Western Mediterranean, Central Europe, and later on as Europe developed its colonial empires to the New World. Over here we had the Ottoman Empire, which didn't really have much interest in map making, but they had trade links and also close links with trading powers of Europe, among them France, obviously Italians, and the Dutch were very much present over here. My oldest map, or better said, it used to be the oldest first map which I ever purchased was in London. There were money from my scholarship, from my PhD scholarship, which I got is this one. It's a French map. It's a map of the principalities, Carpathian principalities, with Hungary, here remnants of Bulgaria. This is from 1660. It's a French map by Nicolas Sanson, who was the main cartographer of Sun King of France. It reflects the geopolitical situation of the area, as the Ottomans being the overlord of Wallachia, Moldavia and Transylvania. They were all together in a way, heralding somehow 300 years earlier what is now the state of Romania. So more or less the Ottomans were creator of this geopolitical unit. They were frontier province of the Ottoman empires, and they preferred to have them autonomous over here. So it shows to you how this area developed socially, economically, and that is also reflected in architecture. The map is not very accurate because they didn't have much information at that time. This place was a Turkish-dominated place, the Ottoman place. The Black Sea was a Ottoman lake, for example, and you can see that it's very deformed. Most of the maps of the area of that time were quite deformed because they didn't have precise latitude or longitude. Slowly, the latitude determination, I mean the north and south degrees, improves, and also the maps improve. But the longitude, the quest for longitude, to have a fixed meridian as we have today, the Greenwich one, and to measure precisely the distances from it using a precise clock, that comes only in the 18th century, early 19th century. This lack of accuracy is also seen in maps like this, which is a German map, which plots the Black Sea area with the different Tatar Khanates over here, Golden Horde, Small Tatary, Crimean Tatary, and even Muscovy. Before Russia became Russia, under Peter the Great, was called Muscovy, and used to be a principality, which slowly expanded itself, and we have the great power, which is today Russia. But at that time was a tiny dot over here. You see part of the former principalities of Wallachia and Moldavia here, but which were at that time dominated by Poland, for example. So before we had the Ottomans, before the Ottomans were Hungarians in this area, before the Hungarians were Bulgarians, no, didn't have maps over from that time. Now we have Polish influence, and that is in a way charted by the German merchants in that regard to have more information about it. But it's lack of accuracy of precise coordinates, and that's why it's so deformed, the map. Also, that is reflected in architecture, in the fact that the architecture in that time in this area wasn't really great, especially in places like the frontier principalities of Moldavia, Wallachia, Transylvania. Transylvania even underwent a kind of decay in aesthetics, provinciality, somehow like really frontier provinces. A province, you have the Transylvanian Renaissance, which are really like run-down houses, which do not have much to do with the Renaissance, but you can detect something there because it was a warring space between the Ottomans and the Christian powers of Central Europe. So that again was reflected in the lack of the accuracy of the maps. As I said, this accuracy improves greatly, especially when we have the push of Austria, of Vienna over here in Transylvania, conquering Transylvania, Banat at the end of the 17th century, and also advancing even more towards the places like Wallachia and Moldavia. And we have a very nice map of Bukovina by the Austrian cartographer, published shortly after the annexation in 1775. They motivated these annexations to the Ottomans because Moldavia, from which Bukovina used to be part, to the Ottomans. Why they want to annex it? Because of roundabout road which they needed to link Transylvania, which was already into their hands for nearly 1 century, with Galicia, the Ukrainian Polish province, and they didn't have a road here linking their provinces. The only road was going through the Moldovan territory, and that's why the chunk left behind this road is Bukovina. If you have good eye, you can see the plot of that road, which again is one of the main roads in Romania. Not even today they managed to cut a road through this, which is quite good because otherwise they will cut lots of forests. But again, geopolitics reflected in the local economy. This one used to be an Ottoman influenced area for hundreds of years already, suddenly becomes Western, and the Western architecture, way of life, even now is very present here, comparing with other parts of Moldova. It's in the maps. This is a very nice map from that time. Another one which shows to you the improvement in cartography in the formations. in this area. This one published in Venice in 1780s. This one is nearly accurate. It shows to you that the Italians, the Venetian merchants especially, started to have access over here and also to measure the land. In Moldavia and Wallachia, we have the Phanariot rules, the Greeks of Constantinople ruling these places. They were very much linked with Italians, Italianized. They were schooling themselves in Bologna, for example, and also they had secretaries from Italy, and also they brought in cartographers. And this map, for sure, is a result of that encounter. The publisher is a cartographer called Zatta over here. Yes, Antonio Zatta. It's a quite well-known map actually. Many copies have been published. These ones are copper engravings. They usually are made on copper by the engraver and then printed on pieces of papers in a series of sometimes a few thousands up until it gets worn out. So with these things we can easily plot the architectural history. We can see in which area of influence of civilization has been for a while, how the borders changed, and that are immediately reflected in the way how people build houses, palaces, military structures, and so on and so forth. You know, in my opinion, it's worth your while studying all maps, be it in the library, be it collecting yourself, or just browsing them in books or in any other kind of source, internet for example. So I hope that you found interesting this communications, and we will see each other next time. Thank you and goodbye.